Yeah, man. What's up, Mike Hill? Okay, what's the number? Give me a number. Need to start wrenching here. 1. Okay, we got more than one person. We got 27. So we can start. Let's see how many people don't have a life. It's Friday night. Yeah, man. Any questions? Any questions before we begin? Today okay, let's take Taro's 69. We're gonna start, we're actually gonna do Q&A now until 69 people are watching. Ciao, Nicola. Nicola, are you going to Thunder Alley? The last RCGP? No, we already picked 69, so be quick. Any questions? Ask them now. Then we're gonna talk about the final rebuild here, center diff, clutch, that sort of stuff. Go over the RC2 format for Thunder Alley. And what else? There was something, oh yeah, part 1 of a new series. How to be a champion, not a fanboy. So this is gonna be a series of just, you know, some life advice. Life advice for how to be a champion, not a fanboy. Part 1 today. Okay. So I made a Facebook post today. I can't believe how much, how much thought people put into my Facebook posts. All I did was post like, should RCGP continue next year? And I didn't know that Keenan was pregnant, but basically he started giving birth. That's really the only explanation I have for his meltdown. He thought the world was ending. Apparently I was throwing RCGP's future into doubt with that post. All I did was ask what people thought. Like, hey, do you think? I even included why. I mean, I wrote, do you think, should RCGP continue next year? Why? So then people could say, no, because of this, or yes, because of that. That's all. As if a fucking Facebook post is deciding the fate of RCGP. It's already stated in the beginning that it's a 3-year project. It's gonna go on as long as there are teams that sign up. If no teams sign up, then it obviously can't go on. If teams sign up, then it continues. Jesus Christ. Anyway, we're over 69. Let's open the mail. The new segment for the Facebook Lives here. We got something. Oh, prepaid. Moore's Ideal Products. Guess what I got? MIP sent me some pistons to try. I'm gonna try these things. I'll let you know how it goes. For fuck's sake, oh, it's my fault now. Yes, Keenan, when you have irrational meltdowns, it is completely your fault. Absolutely. You're getting it now, good job. So, yeah. I'm gonna try these pistons, valved pistons, MIP Bypass 1 trademark pistons. I'm gonna try them and then I'll let you know what I think. I'm gonna try these out next week. Yep. We've got another package here. Yep. I wonder if 100 people commented on my Facebook post. I wonder if 100 more people had commented, then maybe would that mean that RCGP would continue? Keenan, I'm tired of your shit. What do we have here? Go ride your dirt bike, get off fake book. Anthony, I'm back. I had 2 back-to-back 30-day bans on Facebook. I'm finally back and you want me off again. What the hell is wrong with you? About time you got some box again. No pun intended, I'm sure. Imagine if we had 100 more people watching my Facebook Live. Then we'd have 200. Look at that. Look at that. Every freaking month. 100 wristbands. This is like, this must be like 3. Is this 3 months? Oh, we got the black and white ones back. That's good. These are my favorites. Look at that. Child labor in Mozambique. Not exactly. I mean, kind of. It kind of is child labor. But the thing is, we went to Mozambique some years ago. These kids were selling these wristbands. Kind of felt bad for them. All day. Probably sold like 3 wristbands a day. So then, cut a long story short, started buying 100 wristbands a month. So now supporting 10 kids in Mozambique. It covers their school expenses and leaves some money over for the family. So I've been doing that now every month. The idea is that every time you buy a JQThreads shirt or hat, you get a wristband with the piece of clothing you buy. So that's what funds this project. And JQThreads.com, the web shop is up. Actually, I don't know if we're shipping international yet. Maybe someone outside of Europe can try ordering something and let me know if it works. Go order a t-shirt. Support these kids in Mozambique. Okay, so that's that. JQThreads.com. Check it out. Pretty cool. Yeah, so Keenan gave birth. I didn't know he was pregnant, but it's good. I mean, this Facebook post triggered his hormones and had a bit of a mini meltdown. It's all taken care of now. We had a phone call, you know, I talked him through it and he managed to get through it. I'm really proud of him, actually. Keenan can put an order in. Yeah, Keenan, you should actually put an order in. Seeing as I had to put up with you giving birth today, then I think it's only fair that you place an order in the web shop, JQThreads.com, and let me know if everything works smooth. Okay, we're gonna have to move this camera. So I'm gonna finish rebuilding my car. Shirts don't fit. Keenan, you need to start working out so you can fit in a 4XL t-shirt, okay? Seriously. Okay, so I'm gonna rebuild my car now, and then we're gonna talk about the RC2 format in America, and there was something else. Oh yeah, how to be a champion, not a fanboy. Okay, do I have something secret here? No. Just checking. You never know what I have here in the office. Okay. Team shirts have been ordered. I only came here for the RC2 news. Taro, you know how we don't really care about the RC2 guys, so you're gonna have to wait another 30 minutes. That was sarcasm, you know. RCGP actually cares quite a bit about RC2 people. This is an analogy I like to use. So some people complain like, oh, there's not enough focus on RC2 and RCGP gets all the love and they don't care about RC2 guys. Really? Really? With press conferences and all that shit? Jesus Christ. The problem is that RCGP is like flying on your own private jet, okay? That's RCGP. And RC2 is first class. So You're not in economy class. You're in first class in RC2. You have the best seats on the plane in RC2. You have track time, you have heads-up racing, you have a great coverage, you have press conference, you have a chance to win wildcard entries to RCGP. You have all this shit. You're in first class, right? You can get nice trophies. But the problem is that the RCGP class, they're on a private jet. And that's why it looks like, well, compared to those guys, we have, they don't care about us. Shut up. Oh my God, Anthony, but you can't afford a private plane. See, Anthony is American. Let's talk about Anthony for a minute. Anthony isn't really a redneck. Anthony is what Degani likes to call desert people. So Anthony lives out in the desert, so he can't understand concepts like an analogy or metaphors and these sorts of things. Like, to him, words mean exactly, like words and sentences, they mean exactly one thing. And he can't use his imagination to come up with the true meaning of what someone is saying. So this causes problems for Anthony in his in life, and that's basically why he lives in the desert. This way he has less interactions with other human beings, and his chances of survival are much higher. Okay, Keenan was commenting. I have to scroll back a bit. Move the giant tube out of your way. This one? You mean this? Well, if they are on a private jet, you are skydiving without the parachute. Keenan, that's the first good thing you've said today. That actually made me laugh. That was good, Keenan. I'm gonna note this down in my book. I have this book, and whenever Keenan says or does something smart, I note it down. Because he always complains that I don't appreciate what he does, and I never, what's the other thing you always say, Keenan? I'm gonna note it down. What day is it today? The 30th of August. Keenan said something good. Wait. Okay. Keenan made a funny. This kind of cancels out him giving birth earlier. It's good. Anyway, good. Noted that down. When the RCGP will consider on the charts top 25 RC. Well, okay, that's some really strange English here, but I think this guy is asking if the RCGP will count for top 25. The one in Asti counted, and let's see. So who's going to, okay. Someone get that freaking list up. Let's count how many drivers are going. So we have Ryan Lutz, Cole Ogden, David Ronnefalk, Ongaro. Who else? Who else on the list? Cavalieri is on the list. Canas is on the list. That's 6. Who am I missing? Oh, is Kyle McBride still on the list? That might be 7. So we have 7. Is that it? So we have 7. I don't know if 7 drivers will count. Who cares? I will take the desert person over the village idiot in a fight. In a fight and on the track. There's no way. I mean, at the RCGP, we won't really know because we aren't racing the same class. But yeah. Anthony says you are under par on comebacks. I'm under par. I made up a full story about you and you living in a desert, and you say that's under par. Jesus Christ. Can't order JQThreads from the US. Great success. Still not updated. Boots isn't going. Okay, I'm all caught up. Let's continue with this. So we get this done. Under par is good. Yeah, in golf, that's true. Maybe I misunderstood. Okay, so rebuild. We have a race tomorrow. What do you do when you rebuild? You redo your center diff. This could be a good moment to actually talk about how to be a champion, not a fanboy, part 1. The reason I came up with this series is that I've witnessed a lot of people who could do great things and a lot of drivers who could do really well, but they underperform, not because of their skill level, but because of their mentality, the attitude. Actually, I think it's hard to put a percentage on this. Attitude really is everything. It really is key. Seriously, it really is key to so many things. That's why I started this. I want to convert more fanboys into champions. And each Facebook Live, I'm gonna give one nugget of advice. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna start today. What could be the opening statement? Okay, I think I got it. The man who says he can and the man who says he can't are both right. Mostly that's true, yes. Okay, center diff. Placing the gear's teeth down on the paper towel so the oil runs off. Actually, I need to think about this. I need to think which thing is most important for part 1. So I'm going to redo the clutch here first, and then when I'm doing the diff, because we already done 2 diffs, I don't want to repeat everything. So then we're going to talk about how to be a champion, not a fanboy. Okay, so I move this to the side, let all the oil run off, and we switch over to this baby. Okay, good idea to make sure that the flywheel nut is tight. I never use Loctite here. Some people do. I should say Threadlock. Loctite is a brand. Yeah. Oh look, it wasn't even tight. "100 people are leaving." Where are they leaving? If only we could get 100 people more, these videos would be even better. Videos are really awesome, thanks. Cody Taylor. Jeez, I have to remember that name. He said something nice. Secret HB sauce for HP. It's still here somewhere. Man, it's really changed consistency. HP sauce in the diff. Tomorrow in the race, I'm gonna give this diff to Max. That's how you make sure it's tight. You have to make that face, or you can't be sure that it will stay on. Okay, so I use 2 1.1s, 1 1.0. That just seems to be good. At the last national, the track was really slippery and rough, so I actually went to 2 1.0s and 1 1.1 to see if it would be smoother. I don't know if it was, but I won and I beat Max easily. So it was good. So the manufacturer kind of messed up the springs. I'm not going to take the blame on this one. They're a bit too long. So I just clip about 1 mil off the end. So this, the long tail of the spring, cut 1 mil off or so. If you don't, then the shoe won't seat nicely. When the spring is in the clutch shoe, it will come through here. That's not a good thing. Then the spring will stop the shoe from closing all the way. Have you ever beaten Drake though? Well, to those of you who don't know, Drake and I used to be friends. We used to club race together, we used to practice together. Things were good. Then there was this truggy race, Silver State, a few years ago in Vegas. And this was one of the first races I did with probably the second race. I must have done DNC with the Associated, and then I did Silver State. And the body never really came off. I mean, I just threw the thing out there on the track. I changed the clutch bell bearings actually one time, but I didn't do anything. Like Brent Thelke from Associated was saying, like, you need to change the springs, run these different springs, and you have the wrong gears in the diffs and this. I'm like, you know what, Brent? That sounds a bit like work. So I'm just gonna skip on that. So I didn't do any of that crap. I just ran the thing because I thought it was fine. It's a truggy. So we're in this B main, and so me and Adam are in the B main, and I mean, I was thinking there's no way in hell I'm gonna bump, but I'll just do my best. And I was writing my blog at the time. See, that's gonna be a key thing here, the blog. By the way, I'm using these old pliers to assemble the clutch. No special tools required. You can save your money on that shit. So the B main starts. I have a good start. Then I kind of make a bit of a mistake. There's this chicane in the middle of the track. And I can see Adam, he was going nuts as usual at the beginning of the race. And he was behind me. And I could see he was going for a overtaking maneuver. So inside. He was going to pass me, but then that led into the chicane, which is the outside of the corner. I'm like, you know what, Adam? You're not going to get by me here. This is truggy, and truggy drivers are insane. And I'm going to keep it pinned through this section, and you are not going to make it by. And that's kind of what happened. So he went inside, we go into the chicane, and we bump, and he flies off the track, and I continue. I was like thinking to myself, like, that was awesome. That's what Richard Saxton would have done. Quick tip here. Make sure when you assemble the clutch that the tail of the spring is in the groove of the nut. Very important. So, shoes are on, shims. Need some Ultimate Racing bearing oil on my clutch bell bearings. So anyway, obviously the Drake was a bit pissed because I bumped him off the track. And for the following 30 minutes, he attempted to catch me. But my bone stock team associated truck was just too fast and too furious for him. He could not do it. And on the last lap, I knew I was in the last bump spot, right? And Drake was the first one that was out of the A main. I was like, this is gonna be close, because he was coming. And I knew that if I won't make a mistake, he's not gonna catch me. So I really slowed down, made sure nothing funky happened. And we finished like right after each other. And he was so mad because I beat him. I think it was a combination of things. So he was mad because I beat him. Out of everyone, I had to be the guy. And then also because I hit him in the beginning of the race. And then the final straw was I wrote a blog about it where I kind of made fun of the whole thing, because that was where I introduced the whole... No, I think I had introduced the whole Richard Saxton. Or maybe that was actually the blog where I introduced the term Richard Saxtoning. So I Saxtoned him. You know, Richard Saxton used to have this thing where if someone was fast, he used to win all the races. But let's say someone was challenging him. Someone would get by him. He would just take them out and not stop, just keep on going. And then the guy who he took out was so mad that they got all flustered and mad and tried to catch up and made mistakes. So, I mean, that's such a genius way to go about things. So I wrote about this in the blog, and I said that I Saxton Drake. And it worked, because I mean, yeah, I kind of took him out. Like, he was trying to go by, and I should have surrendered the position. But I was like, fuck that. I punched it, knocked him off the track, and kept on going. He got so mad that he blew out for a few minutes, and then he never caught me again. So it worked. So I wrote that blog, and then ever since then, he's hated me. Like, I didn't know. I thought we were cool. But yeah, that's how he got mad. I have no idea why I told this story. Someone asked some question. Oh yeah, someone asked if I ever beat him. So yeah, that's one example where I did. In Truggy. Actually, also, if you go and watch, there's a video on JQRacing, or JQ Products it's called, on YouTube. I don't know how to change the name of my channel. So JQ Products TV, and then there's that, the story video. So in the story video, it's all this like motivational quotes and music and shit going on, and telling the story of JQRacing. So there's a picture there. There's some video from a truggy race in Italy, and then there's a picture there where I won a truggy race and Adam was third. He flamed out like a billion times though, but still, it's a good picture. That's why it's in there. Okay, so clutch assembled, clutch bell done, new bearings. If I can find filters, I'll put a new filter on, but I don't know where I have any. So every time you rebuild your car, this is a good idea to do. You see this rubber here? The condom for the carb. Just like with real condoms, make sure that there's no holes here. So on a used engine like this, you can tell, like if there's a wet spot, you'll know that there's something funky going on. There's a hole there probably. So this one's nice, all dry. I don't see any damage. So this is good to go. Because if you have a hole here, your tune's gonna be all over the place. It's not gonna work. Okay? Cool. Pipe. Not the right pipe. I should be running the 2090. I'm gonna have to steal it off this thing. So the OS 2100 SC, the pipe feels okay, but you have less runtime, like clearly like 30 to 40 seconds less. Now this is like good for practice. Then the 2090 is good. It has similar power to the 2100, I think a bit more punchy bottom end. So it's more like a torquey pipe, like good punch. I like that. And then they have a 2060 also, which is good, but it's like more, it's smoother bottom end and more high speed. Why wouldn't you put a zip tie on that? I don't know about those zip tie things, you know? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't know. Zip tie for that boot I was talking about, the condom zip tie. 2060, yeah, 2060 all day if you are scared of power. If you like to keep it smooth, no bottom end, good top end, then you run the 2060. But yeah, I need all the power I can get because I need to ruin Max tomorrow. He's been a bit stroppy recently. I had to get mad at him today. He's being a little beach. Okay, lube, 2090, 75 header. That's how we roll. Why don't you use Red's engines? Because I need to call my lawyer about this one. Nah, Reds and I, we just we decided it was best to part ways. I had good 5 years with them, I think. They released a new engine. I wasn't yeah, I felt like I wasn't gonna go down that road anymore. I never really had like any major issues with them. No flameouts, very like steady, safe engine. Like I always knew my runtime. I didn't flame out. I finished all my races. It's just like the tiny, small things like running on and getting the tune just right and having to retune and these sorts of things, you know. Like at the Worlds, Reds kind of, I almost felt bad for them because a bunch of drivers were flaming out, but it was pure stupidity. They were running the wrong plug. I knew about it. I told Reds, I told other people, you can't run the 5. It flames out for no reason at the end of the straight. Yeah, well, that's what they were running and they all flamed out. I was like, you're an idiot. So anyway, you run the P3 in there and it doesn't flame out. It's good. So I kind of felt bad for them there because the engine was fine at the Worlds. So anyway, running OS now. That's just how it is. Do you ever take out the carb insert to get more power? No, I run 6.5 or, yeah, 6.5 or 7 I run. This one actually has a 7 in it now. Let's get beer, actually. You're changing the subject. What was the subject? Flaming out is when the engine stops. Sorry, I'm changing the subject. From what? Okay, so I checked the boot, very important. New clutch bell bearings. Make sure the gaskets are fine. I know this one is fine. I changed it at the last national. Only run the main with it, so. I don't know what flaming out is. I run OS. Actually, OS guys have been flaming out too. What I found with this, with the OS is, it's kind of weird. If you don't tune it right, then what can happen is your idle is fine, but then let's say it loads up. Let's say you stop, then you gas it, and then you brake. The idle will drop lower than the normal idle. So I think that's why some people flame out with the OS, because they tune it in a way where that happens. Actually, I haven't quite figured out why that happens, but it's almost, I kind of feel like if you lean the low end too much, this doesn't sound right, I know, but it's strange. You lean the bottom end too much, and when you run the engine that way, it feels fine, everything's fine. But then that can happen where, let's say you have a crash and it's just idling, then you gas it, and then you brake for a hairpin and it stalls because the idle drops lower than normal. Anyway, let's get a move on with this thing. So I always run the P3 plug. Okay, this done, put this aside, back to the diff. Let's finish this center diff now. So you see how I placed the teeth down? Looks really clean. Oil has run off. No need to use brake cleaner or anything. Get the O-rings out. Get my favorite. Oh shit, I need to refill my favorite syringe. I run the Nitrolux fuel from Model X. P4, no, don't run the P4. Why would you run the P4 if it's under 50 degrees air temp? It's a colder plug, I don't get it. Why would you do that? I actually haven't tried the low CG cooling head yet. Okay, so now I'm just doing the diff. We already done this. Lube up the axles. I'll show one and then I'll start talking about how to be a champ instead of a fanboy. Okay? I never run the P4 now. You can, I don't know, maybe someone can convince me to run it, but P3 just seems safer, no flameouts and problems. Colder plug in colder weather makes the idle stay consistent, I promise. I don't know, Mike Bellotti is, Mike Bellotti, we all know he's insane, so I don't know if we should listen to this guy or not. P4 flames in the pits. Thank you, Chad. I always felt like people who are flaming out pit stops or they crash and they flame out, like whenever people have issues, it's like they're not running a P3. It's just how it is. Is Jeff Keaton watching diff build? Jeff Keaton is still blocked. We get some cheaper paper, remember this. Don't use that more expensive blue paper, just some cheaper one for this. Save money. Save money so I can pay Keenan his huge salary. He's just become more and more demanding as time goes by. Really frustrating. I have to start saving paper, for God's sake, just so I can pay the man. Oh, he got a new puppy also. He's trained, can you believe this? So, he knows that I'm not the biggest fan of dogs. I don't know, the filthy animals scare me. So, he got yet another one. He already has like 7 killer dogs in the house. Now he got another one, a new puppy, and he's training it. He's training it to attack me. He stole some clothes out of my bag so the puppy can get the scent, and he's like rubbing meat on it and stuff, like to teach it to like bite and eat my clothes. So now he's like training it to the point where just the scent, like my scent, sets the dog off to like this beast mode. It's a tiny puppy, but he says like, by the time you get here, it will be all fully grown. Fuck. Yeah, I don't know about that. Okay, so lubed up. Did you see what I did there? I kind of forgot to explain. I'll explain it here with the other one. Nitro buggy racers are filthy animals. Just some of us. Okay, so I'll explain this, and then we're going to talk about how to be a champion, not a fanboy. And then once I'm done with this car, then we'll talk about the RC2 format. Okay, sound like a plan? So here we go. Lubed up axle, no O-ring in the groove, insert wrong way, twist, boom. Put some lube in the groove there. O-ring, 2 shims. Fuck it, I'll just run this gear. I was thinking of changing the gearing, but I can't be asked. Aye. Okay. Here's the deal. There are far too many talented, skilled individuals out there who are fanboys, and they should be champions. And there's one very important thing that they need to adjust in their attitude. See, fanboys are followers. Fanboys, they look up to someone. They're like, oh, Ty Tessmann, he's so good. And then they're like, I'm gonna run this setup because Ty Tessmann runs this. Like, Ty Tessmann runs long links, so I'm gonna put long links on my car, and he runs this cooling heads. I'm gonna run the Ty Tessmann OS engine, and everything. Like, Ty Tessmann does something, they do it. You know? It's insane. Yeah, Ty's a nice guy. You can run X-ray, and you can be Ty's teammate. But what the fuck? You should try and beat that guy. You should be like, Ty is running this. I'm gonna figure out something that's better than this, okay? And I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna beat that guy. That's what you should think. You shouldn't be like, I want to be just like Ty. No, you should be like, I want to be better than Ty. Okay? And how do you become better than Ty? Let me explain something. Oh, I'm getting carried away. I have to build this diff here. How do you get better than Ty? If you're a Ty Tessmann fanboy on X-Ray, how do you get better than him? Well, I'll tell you how. You soak up all the information you can from Ty and Gord. You learn every single thing you can. You learn, okay? But you don't stop there. You don't automatically just do everything exactly the way they do. You don't automatically believe everything they say. Like, they say, oh, that sucks. Oh, don't do that on the setup because that's no good. We tried it and this is better, okay? A moment you can learn. Ask why. Why was this not good? Why did you do this, you know? So maximize everything you can learn by asking questions. Then make up your own goddamn mind. Try it for yourself and see if you agree with them, and then figure out what works best for you. Because maybe, just maybe, Ty likes to set up his car a certain way. Very low roll centers, long links. It makes for a car that's very sort of boat-like almost. You know? It's not super responsive and precise. It's more like leaning this way. Okay, now I'm gonna lean that way. It's quite sort of sluggish or slow in a way, you know? You have to find a rhythm and then you'll be good. You can be super fast that way. But that's not the only way to set up a car. Maybe you don't like that. So just because you run X-Ray and you like Ty and Gord, doesn't mean that you like everything they like. It doesn't mean that your best performance will come with the same setup that they run. But so basically you should listen, you should ask questions, you should learn everything that you can from them, but you should then go a step further and figure things out for yourself, because that's what a champion would do. A fanboy would just follow and do everything that they do and be just a mini Ty. a champion would take all that information and then add to it and then kick Ty's ass. And that's what we're looking for. Okay? You get that? And this is not a dig on Ty. It was just an example. Could be anyone. There's a lot of fanboys out there, you know? But since we're on the subject of Ty, I'm not quite sure the man's a virgin anymore. Have you noticed he's gone missing? Have you noticed? I'm serious. I will be monitoring this situation very closely. Just saying, just saying. Strange things are going on these days. I think Ty might be becoming rebellious. Curious to see what happens with race results here. Yeah, but second. He was like second. And he wasn't winning, man. He won truck or short. Like, he won one of those pointless classes. He was there, but not quite, you know? The edge, you know? Can't lose the edge. Well, talk about Cavalieri. What happened there? Yokomo setup, not that good. Maifield just manhandled it around, and Cavalieri couldn't make it happen, or what? What's going on? I have to get back over there to California and really find out what's going on. I need to get to the bottom of this. You know what? This is perfect. The perfect way to end part one of Be a Champion, Not a Fanboy. Look at these champions faltering right now. What's going on? Virginities are being lost. Kids are being born. Worst placing in a national 10 scale ever. Well, ever, like in a decade. This is your chance. This is your chance to break out from that fanboy shadow and be a champion. Don't be another Tessmann. Be a first pumpernickel. You know? Ah. Oh boy. You're Keenan. Are you saying that I'm a Keenan fanboy or Keenan is my fanboy? You know what? Screw this. We're using power tools now. So did you understand what I was talking about? Are there any fanboys on here right now? Okay? Are there any fanboys here? Come on, comment. Whose trophy room are you in? What an asshole. Yeah. Keenan kind of, you know what? Keenan is a great example. Keenan is a great example. Thank you. Thank you, Salty. Let's talk about Keenan. I'm not done with this champion, not a fanboy thing yet. I'm not done. Look at Keenan. Keenan was a fanboy. He's not going to admit it. Keenan was a mega fanboy. He was Mugen, Mr. Mugen. I'm all Mugened out. I love the Drake. I like his videos where he talks about body clips, and I'm fucking, well, he didn't do the videos back then. Anyway, I made that part up. But he was all about Mugen. Super fanboy. RC this, RC that. But also he was like, I'm just this island person, island idiot. These guys are amazing, these Americans. Sometimes I go and race against them, you know. he had a fanboy attitude. I didn't like that, you know? He was like a bit too fanboy. So I had to kind of mold him. I had to take Keenan by the balls and just kind of juggle them around a bit, you know? Remold the guy. I had to force him to become a champion. Oh, no one cares what he has to say. He can't do a podcast. Dude, this went on for weeks. I think like 6 weeks probably we were arguing about this podcast. Like we had some mega arguments about this podcast thing. Like WhatsApp calls and everything. And I basically told him to shut the fuck up and do the podcast. And this is how you do it. And I made a plan and I said, you're doing it. No, I'm paying you and it's not my job. Yes, it is. Because you know what, Keenan? I pay you and your job is what I tell you it is. And right now, I think you should do a podcast because I think you'll be really good at it. And you know what? Once he kind of got rid of that fanboyism, he did it. And he did a great job. He really did. The podcast is great. Okay, I'm just going to get the book because I complimented Keenan, so I'm going to write that down too, obviously. What's the time? It's my Keenan notebook here. But you see what I'm saying. So he was a bit of a fanboy and he can't do it and no one cares about me and boo-hoo-hoo. And then I just kind of smacked it out of him. I slapped it out of him, you know? And then he realized that he can fucking do this. He can do a podcast and people listen and they care and they like it. And oh, I can't go and talk to Maifield, you know, he looks grumpy, like he won't talk to me. And or I can't, they won't come on the podcast. Every fucking time it's an argument. I'm like, just, you're a grown-ass man. Just go do it, you know? Or how do you know the answer will be no if you haven't asked? Ask them. They'll come on the podcast. And then eventually he kind of handles it on his own. I had to hold his hand for the longest time and do this and do that. Now he does it. He's fucking getting all kinds of people on the show now. Now, because he has a champion attitude now. He doesn't think that, oh, these guys, no one cares what I say, or this guy won't come on the podcast. No, it's like, you know what? I'm going to get this guy. And then he contacts them. That's what I want to see. That's a champion attitude right there. You know? That's how you do it. Don't give a shit what people think. Always listen to all feedback. But you don't have to live your life by it, you know? Some people are just idiots. They don't know what's going on. Their opinion doesn't matter because they're stupid. But you should still listen, you know? You can learn from all that stuff. But you have to be a champion yourself. You have to know what's good feedback and what's not. And then you make up your own mind. That's how it is. JQ has never held or touched my balls. Yep, that's what Keenan says. Get Drake on the podcast. Exactly. What? Tim, JQ has me so pumped up, I need to smack my wife a bit. Well, let's hope this smacking is somehow a sexual thing in your family. That both enjoy, you know, something, I don't know. Otherwise, I'm not too pumped on this development. I want Drake on the podcast. His story is awesome. Yeah, me too. You know what? There's another one. There's another one. Adam Drake. Okay, let me ask you something, people. What do you think? Does Adam Drake have a fanboy attitude or a champion attitude? What is Adam Drake? A champion or a fanboy? Do you think he was like, oh, Brian Kinwald, he's so good. I'm just gonna, oh, Brian Kinwald, you know? Or was it like, I'm gonna fucking beat everybody? Which one was he? What do you think? I think, to be honest, I think he's a bit of a fanboy of me, to be honest. You know what I hate? Class act. He's such a class act. Like, dude, I hate that saying. I don't know why. Maybe it reminds me of school or something. But it's like the fucking dumbest thing ever when people say someone's a class act. That's so annoying. Is that just me? Okay. Drake is and always will be a champion kind of guy. See? There you go. That's why I think more of you people out there should be champions, not fanboys. Uh-oh. I wasn't paying attention. I put this on crooked. I can't see what I'm doing. I think you're spot on with your analysis. Antonio Paredes Cumbres. Antonio Paredes Cumbres. How the hell do you say your surname? He was really shocked at something. I don't know. For fuck's sake, shut up. Keenan, you know I'm right. Corey Harris, don't ban me. Why? I always thought you were a class ass. That's much better. I would rather be a class ass than a class act. Don't like that saying. Okay, so there you have it. There's part one of Be a Champion, not a Fanboy. I think next week's Wednesday we'll do part two. So, what's special about putting this thing in? Oh, I know. Set the mesh. There's a key step to setting the mesh. We can go over that. Also, I'm using rubber bands here. I'll show you. Put a small rubber band around here, around the main needle. Use a screw here instead of a set screw. Use a button head screw here, and then put the rubber bands around there. So then you have your fail-safe system. Good. I use the rubber bands and the spring for the return. Do you know a guy named Pat McGroin? I'm trying to think what the joke is there. I mean, patting the groin, like, but Mac groin, like, what? I don't know. I don't get it. Okay, so let's set this mesh thing now. Let's see if I can do this. Actually, we're gonna have to bust out the Dremel. I just know it. I can feel it. Curious why Mike Garrison has the same puffy lips. There's no way. Get on to RC2 for fuck's sake. Listen, Keenan, don't tell me what to do. I'm teaching people valuable lessons about mesh. We only have one slight problem. I'm running these sample prototype screws that are thinner so they don't protrude under the chassis, but of course, as always, when you order something for the first time, they mess it up. I don't know how, because it's 2.5 hex. Why can't they just figure it out? But they made them too big. So I bet you they'll strip. Yeah, I'm not gonna fuck it, you know, I'm not gonna do it now. I'm gonna have to show you how to do the mesh like us pros later on. Well, actually, I might have to do it now. The mesh is so big. Let's see if I can sneakily loosen all the screws and get the mesh okay. I'll explain it to you guys. Okay, so here's the deal. What you want to do is, after you kind of set the mesh once, you loosen all the screws from up top. So the screws from the engine and the mount, and then you twist the engine this way, so away. So you make the mesh as big as possible. Then you tighten everything down. Then you go down here and you set the mesh from these screws again. The reason for that is that if you just set the mesh, it could be that if you loosen these screws, you can make the mesh too big. Now, why is that a problem? That's a problem because if you go onto the track with a perfect mesh, you case a big jump, something, you might actually move the engine just slightly, if it can move that way. And then at the end of the race, you notice your mesh is bigger. And if you just run that way, you're gonna wear out the spur gear. So, set the mesh one time, open all these screws from the top, twist the engine to make the mesh as big, as loose as possible. Then set the mesh correctly from here. Then you'll be golden. Then the mesh will stay good no matter what. Unless the screws fall out, but then you're just an idiot if that happens. But I am not gonna do that now. Because I'm lazy. I'm basically doing the opposite. And this is really risky for a race. But you know, I'm just not gonna crash. I'm gonna be super smooth and I'm gonna beat Max. And yeah. I like the HB wing mount. Yeah, so I think I talked about that on the Facebook Live where I did the rear end. I only put this on because it's more lightweight. So it was actually quite a bit lighter than the stock one. Because I tried to make this car as light as possible. I mean, still pretty heavy, like 3,330 grams basically. I still want to put aluminium turnbuckles on, and there was something else I was thinking. I want to get it 3,250. I think that would be good. What's the update for our shocks now? New caps, longer end shocks. The update is the bleeder cap. Oh shit. You know why I don't have this rear shock on? Because I wanted to move this in and I wanted to do it when the engine isn't there because it's easier. But I forgot. God dang. It's your fault, Keenan. Keenan distracting me. Okay. We're almost at the RC2. The RC2. Actually, there's still over 100 people. I don't know what the hell is... There's a lot of people out there with no lives on a Friday night. You really miss me. I don't miss you, Keenan. I already complimented you once, you should be happy. Look, Taro came back just as I said, we're almost at the RC2 talk. How did he know? Okay, so next week on Wednesday, I'll do a Facebook Live and I'll rebuild some shocks. I'll talk about shocks. I rebuild, piston, springs, all that shit. I'll talk about that, okay? And when I do so, I can give you an update on these dailies. The MIP Bypass 1 trademark pistons. Okay, so we're almost done here with the rebuild. What's up with the truggy, Jake? You know what? I'm thinking about the truggy. And you know what? I really like the associated truggy, so I'm gonna keep running that thing. As much as I can like a truggy, I like that thing. So it's Team Associated 10 scales and Team Associated truck. Because I beat Drake in that B main at Silver State with the stock truck, Associated actually gave me a lifetime deal. Like Brent came over to the pits, he was all excited, and then he presented me with a lifetime contract. So as long as I want to race, I can race Associated 10 scale and 8 scale truck. It's a lifetime deal. I was really happy with that. It's actually one of my better achievements in RC. Like doing my own car and helping to create a world championship series. I mean, traveling across America racing, actually South America, actually the whole world racing, and all of this stuff, like, it just doesn't compare. Like the lifetime deal with Associated for truck and 10 scale, that's maybe my proudest achievement. My second proudest achievement is turning Keenan from a fanboy to a champion. I'll make a new buggy first, and then based on that, then we can again start thinking about a truck. That's as far as I'll go. Buy the MIP flappy pistons, yes or no? We'll find out next week's Wednesday. Okay, now we're going to talk about RC2 at RCGP. So this rebuild is done. Let me just make sure the engine's in here. So pipe is tight. Let's check these screws so nothing embarrassing happens, like the motor falling out or something like that. That wouldn't be good. You need a new truck. What the hell, Mike Hill? Have you been driving my truck? Why do I need a new one? It was new. It was basically new at DNC. Mike, is there something you need to tell me? Okay. Let's see. Now we need to go over this RC2 format. Taro, are you here? Is Taro Craddock in the house? Taro, comment if you're here. I can't go on with this Facebook Live unless you're here. This is the whole point of this. We need to take care of our RC2 drivers. To make sure they're here. Well, where did he go now? Yes, there he is. Okay, Taro. We're good to go. Okay. So, Friday, check-in opens 7 a.m. It's going to be an early start for you, Taro. Now, you could probably show up Thursday afternoon also. Thursday is kind of a media day, press day, so there'll be pictures and videos of the RCGP guys. You know, the guys on the private plane that we care about more than you guys. So, they will be doing media work, but you can show up, you know, sign up, register, figure out what race you're in, get numbers, all that good stuff. So you're ready to go for the morning. Because Friday morning, you'll have 3 rounds of free practice. So should be 6-minute rounds of practice. So 3 rounds of free practice. Then there's going to be a setup clinic early afternoon. So the RCGP guys help the RC2 guys with setup advice. Then after that, there's 2 rounds of seeding practice. So the seeding practice is 2 or 3 best laps in a row. And that's I actually forget how long this is. I should probably know this, right? It's a 6-minute run. So your best 3 laps most likely, because lap times are short there. So best 3 laps in 6 minutes. And that seeds you into your qualifying heat. So that's done. Friday you get to run 5 times. 3 free practice, 2 seeding practice. And there is a setup clinic. So get your questions ready. What car are you running? You're running the Kyosho. Yeah. Sorry. There's no Kyosho driver in RCGP because Kyosho said no. Yeah. You can't blame us for that. But anyway, maybe you can ask someone else about a setup advice. Saturday. Okay, now Taro, I need you to pay attention because this is going to be different. So the RC2 class on Saturday has a different racing format to normal. Okay, so pay attention now. 3 rounds of regular IFMAR style qualifying, 6-minute runs. So you have a 3-minute warm up, then the loop goes live. Next time you cross, your time starts. You do a 6-minute run, compare times, whoever's the fastest, TQ of that round. And it goes by points. You have 3 rounds like that, and then the 2 best count. So 2 out of 3 count. The 2 best points. And then you are reseeded into new heats. So the 12 fastest guys go into the last heat. The 12 slowest guys go into the first heat. So you are seeded based on these 3 IFMAR style qualifiers. 2 out of 3 reseeded into new heats. Then there's a qualifying race. The qualifying race is what determines your overall qualifying position. So let's say, Taro, that you are dialed with your MP10. Mick sets up your car and it's just amazing. Maybe Cody King even shows up and pits for you, you know? And you are just on fire and you qualify 10th overall. That means that you'll go into the fastest group. Because like I said, the 12 fastest guys go into the fastest group. The last heat. Whoever wins that qualifying race will be overall TQ. So you may have qualified 10th, but you can still be overall TQ if you win that qualifying race. Let's say you have bad luck and you break. God forbid you break in that qualifying race. If you're in that fastest group, you'll still only qualify 12th. You're not going to be last overall or anything. You'll be 12th. If you're in the slowest group and you are last in the slowest group, you'll be last overall. If you win that group, you'll be like 100, what is this? 108th if the race is full. You see what I mean? So, plenty of runtime on Saturday also. And we're not even done. Because on Saturday, there's also a junior race. I think it's under 18. So if you're under 18 and you qualify in the top 12 of juniors, you can have a 15-minute junior race. And also we have a 40+ race. And that's it for RC2 on Saturday. Sunday, RC2. We have a 3-minute warm-up and 20-minute mains. All the mains are 20 minutes. There's none of this bullshit, show up at 6:30 and get a 6-minute race. Like, that's so stupid. None of that. Everyone gets a 3-minute, oh yeah, no warm-up either. Everyone gets a 3-minute warm-up, 20-minute race. And 4 bump. So it's a Christmas tree style, like the Worlds or the Euros. So A and B, semi-final, quarter-final, 1/8 final, 16th, 32nd, 64th, 128th. So if you're in the dead last final, you have to bump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times and you'll be in the main. Bump ups, yeah, so 4 drivers bump up, except from the semi-final, we bump 5 and 5, and then we have a last chance race and 2 bump from there. So if you break in a semi, you can still be top 2 in the last chance and make the main. No, I think junior is 18, not 14. Then the last chance is 8 minutes, by the way. Then the main final, the main event for RC2 is 45 minutes. So 12 drivers in 45 minutes. So yeah, there we go. There's plenty of runtime. And actually, I did some stats for you. Let's compare the runtime at RCGP to some other major races. Let's see. Let's see what we have here. Let's see, where did I save this? I did some stats because I saw some feedback, and to be honest, I was a bit miffed. So I did some stats just to see where we're at. And I can't remember where I saved it. Oh my God. I know it's here somewhere. Too many Excel files, seriously. Here we go, found it. What's that MIP bypass stopwasher part number? I don't know. I just got the full set here, so can't help you. Miffed Rupert. Okay, let's see. So the entry fee for RC2 is $125. Other major races tend to be $90. DXR is actually $160, so even more expensive. $90, yeah. But then RC2 is only one class, so you only pay $125. At the other races, people tend to do 2 classes, bare minimum, like at least nitro and electric 8 scale, or nitro, buggy and truggy, for example. So they are actually paying 180. But one class is 90. Hardly anyone does that. And now we get to the track time. This, my friends, is nuts. The minimum track time at this minimum track time does not count making the main, bumping up, doing a junior race or 40 plus. So the bare minimum track time you get is 141 minutes. Sorry, 96 minutes. If you make the main, it's 141. Okay, so 96 minutes. Compared to other popular races in America, guess how much? Guaranteed track time, minimum track time, guess. So it's 96 minutes. Over 1.5 hours of racing in RC2. Other popular, hundreds of entries, everyone's super stoked and happy. 48 minutes. 4 other major races, 30 minutes. 30 minutes. RC2 has over 3 times as much track time, guaranteed minimum, as some popular races in America. There's actually a race that has more minutes, guaranteed minutes. But they also have 1 more day of racing. DXR had 103 minutes guaranteed track time. RC2 had 96. So you had 1 extra day, but you had 7 minutes more guaranteed track time. So that's crazy. Double or triple as much as the other big American races, track time. That also makes it the cheapest race to run. You pay $1.3 per minute at RC2. You pay $1.90 at other popular US races, and $3 at 4 other races. $3 a minute compared to $1.30. And then let's see, how much practice do you get? how much controlled practice in heats do you get? So you have a time, you go on the driver's stand and you practice with other cars. Same cars, you know, not zoo practice. You don't have to stand in line. You know when you go up and you run. How much controlled practice? 30 minutes in RC2, 14 minutes at some other popular races, 0 minutes at some others. How much warm-up do you get? So, you know, at the nitro race, when there's long breaks between your runs or your first run of the day, you kind of want to make sure that your engine is running good and you kind of get in a groove. Maybe you come in the pits, retune a bit, and then you go. Warm-up is important, right? How much warm-up? How much warm-up do you think there is in RC2 compared to other US races? Sounds like a sex hotline conversation I jumped into here. Were we talking about $3 a minute? "30 minutes of controlled practice, 30 minutes at RC2, 14 at some other US races, 0 at some other. Warm-up, 21 minutes of warm-up at RC2. So just making sure your shit is running right. 21 minutes. 10 minutes at other popular races. 5 minutes at some more popular races in America. So double the amount and quadruple the amount. That's how much warm-up you get at RC2. Heads-up racing. So how many minutes of actual racing do you get? So racing against other cars on the track. 45 minutes RC2, 8 minutes at other popular races, and 10 minutes at some other popular races. That's the minimum guaranteed heads-up racing. You hear those numbers, folks? $125 is not a lot of money for a race like this. You pay less than most other US races you go to because you race 2 classes, $180. So $125 instead of $180. You get double or triple the track time. You get double the heads-up racing time. You get double to quadruple warm-up time to actually make sure that everything's running right before the clock starts and you have to do a qualifying run or a main. So less chance of you being all frustrated and pissed off because your engine is too lean or too rich or this or that, you know? Yeah. There you go. Stats to back it up. Think about these things. Okay, Taro. I hope that answered your questions. Things are looking good. Yeah, mate. Okay. I don't know. I think that might be it. I think it was a pretty good Facebook Live here. We covered a lot of ground. We got some epic stories out there. The poll. Spam taco. What's happening? Okay, what do you guys think? Are we done here or what? What does it take to get an RCGP event to Australia, for example? There's no set roadmap for that. It takes a lot of things. A lot of things. Money is one thing. E-Buggy, thank you, sir.